Hello guys, how are you?
I'm Hardeep Singh. Welcome back to your own YouTube channel. IELTS updates and recent exams. For more updates related to recent IELTS exam writing test topics, listening, reading, practice test, and speaking, you got guesswork. Please, guys, participate in everyday listening and reading practice test to achieve your desired band score in your actual IELTS exam. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Press the bell icon for the upcoming notifications. Don't forget like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, IELTS updates and recent exams.
Part 1.
You will hear a conversation between a relative and his nephew. The relative is talking to his nephew related to his college and car driving. You have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello, good morning. How are you, my dear?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm in the pink of my health. So tell me, has your college started?
Yes, it's been almost a month.
So, are you happy over there?
Yes, absolutely.
How do you go to your college each day? Train, bus, or your own vehicle?
Presently, I'm going by bus, but sometimes, if I have time, I prefer walking, as it's not much far away.
So, don't you want your own vehicle?
Yes, of course. One day I will have my own vehicle.
But why don't you have one right now?
As you know, I've just started my college, and it will take time to buy my own vehicle. I will try to buy one when I'll start my post-graduation.
Oh, really? That is good. That means you want to buy a vehicle with your own money.
Yes, you got it right. I don't want to take help from my parents.
Do you have your driving license?
Yes, I do have it.
So you can drive, right?
Absolutely. My mother made sure that I learned driving at the right time and right age.
That is a good thought. Tell me, if I give you my car to drive, will you drive it?
But why?
As you know, I'm an old man now. It is difficult for me to drive. So you can take my car, and also I'll be glad if you drop me and pick me up sometimes. That way, both our problems will be solved.
That is so sweet of you, but I can take my dad's car to pick and drop you. For that you don't have to give me your car.
Now look at questions 6 to 10. As the talk continues, answer question 6 to 10.
Listen, I've been invited to an opera show as the chief guest, and I want you to accompany me.
That's so pleasant. It will be a great pleasure to accompany you. When is the opera show?
It is on Sunday the 15th of this month.
And where is the opera show?
It is in our city auditorium next to Nemore Road, and the timings are 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So, you come to my place at 5 p.m.?
Definitely. I'll be there at 5 p.m. sharp.
Oh, I forgot to tell you that I've changed my house, so note down the new address. It is B Block 42. Earlier it was A Block 42, so only a change in the block.
Okay, got it. See you on Sunday. Take care.
Give my blessings to your parents. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, dear.
That is the end of Part 1.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to Part 2.
You are going to hear an interview with Helen Zausman, who is a renowned and successful local radio presenter. She hosts mostly breakfast shows and is also an award-winning podcaster. She will give her tips on audio success with the listener. First look at question 11 to 16. Now listen to the recording and answer questions 11 to 16. People say it is very difficult to get a job on the radio, but they're lying. Ignore their tales of painstakingly working their way up through hospital radio, community radio, ham radio, of badgering the local radio station in their native backwater just to be allowed to empty the bins. Then one right Mr. Graveyard Shift was too drunk to do his show, so you stepped in instead, and a radio star was born, of how after 5, 15, 50 years at the coalface, they were finally offered a show on a station people actually listened to during daylight hours. No, you can start a tip-top radio career in one easy step, and that is to be famous from the television. That's all there is to it. Just ask Fern Cotton, Graham Norton or Jamila Janil. But if you're not famous from telly, don't worry, you still have a chance, as long as you're a retired sportsman or Ronnie Wood. Unfortunately, I lack the foresight to be Ronnie Wood. Furthermore, when I was a fresh graduate with just a student radio award and a handful of radio career dreams, I lacked the smarts, the ingenuity and the doggedness required to bash down doors in the radio industry. Over the years, a few gigs did trickle in, performing sketches on a late-night Radio 1 comedy show, writing jokes for the Now Show, but nothing that was building to a career. In the meantime, I supported myself with such unrelated jobs, such as scouting houses for a 60-minute makeover, proofreading books about cricket, filtering out the more threatening posts sent to BBC newsreaders, administrating benefits, typing up novels for rich elderly people, teaching knitting and Latin, playing glockenspiel at festivals. Then in January 2007, my friend Ollie Mann and I started making a podcast. Answer me this, for no better reason than because we would. Now look at questions 17 to 20. As the talk continues, answer questions 17 to 20. And although the show has reaped dividend way beyond what we had imagined, 2 Radio Academy Awards, a spin-off book and a proper radio jobs, there remains no better reason to make podcasts than because you can. If you have an idea, you don't have to wait for someone to commission it, and you can execute it exactly how you want. If you want to be a presenter or a producer or a writer, you can try out all 3, perhaps even simultaneously. You can practice and experiment with those roles without the pressure of your employer witnessing and wasting their money on your embarrassing learning curve. And if you're serious about pursuing a career in audio, you really should demonstrate your enthusiasm for the medium by making some audio. Frankly, there's no excuse not to. It's not expensive or difficult because, at its simplest, you can record onto a smartphone, edit on free software, upload to a free hosting service. I had precisely 0 knowledge or experience of any of these things when I started podcasting. Indeed, I barely knew what a podcast was. Seems I learnt the hard way. Podcasting is a solitary business, so it doesn't immediately lend itself to being that most vital tool for career getting. Making contacts, yes, Radio is one of the many industries that reward the gregarious, and practically everybody I've met in radio has found jobs through people they know or through people that the people they know. But even if, like me, you're a shut-in making podcasts in the living room that you rarely leave, you can make a concerted effort to make contacts. Note the names of producers you've made shows with you admire, and email or tweet them to ask if you can meet to discuss possible work prospects over a cup of tea. Get in touch with other podcasters and see if they'll acquiesce to leaving their living rooms sometime. Join networks such as Soundwoman, which provide regular opportunities for the like-minded to convene, hobnob and support one another in navigating the murky world of radio. In general, people don't mind being asked for help. At best, they'll be so flattered they're delighted to assist you in finding a toehold in the radio industry. And at worst, they just won't answer your email. This is not so terrible, nor is trying, but failing to get very far. The terrible thing would be not to try at all. So quit stalling and get on with it, now.
That is the end of part 2.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 3.
You are going to hear a conversation between Sally and Ben. They are new college students. You now have some time to read questions 21 to 25. Now, listen to the first part of the conversation and answer questions 21 to 25.
Hi, Ben.
Sally.
How are you?
Fine.
I wondered if I'd run into you. When did you get here?
I only arrived last night, just in time. I prefer to travel on Sundays to miss the working rush. I suppose you arrived in plenty of time.
Oh, I've been here for 4 days now, so it must have been Thursday that I arrived. I like to have a good chance to look around and settle in.
I should have come earlier too. I'm hoping to get a part-time job.
Well, you've no time today, I suppose. Do you still plan to be an architect?
Yes, it's what I've always wanted to do. And you were planning to do economics, weren't you?
Yes, I was, but now I've decided on psychology instead.
How many textbooks do you have to get? I've been given this long list, and I'm sure they'll cost a fortune. See?
That looks a lot. It's longer than my list.
Well, it's 14 all told. So I might use library copies instead of buying some of them. What about you?
I'll probably buy the whole lot of mine because I only have 5 on my list, although I'm sure there are many more I'll have to read.
Luckily, we don't have to read them all straight away. Have you got your class timetable yet?
It came with the book list. When do your lectures start?
Tuesday. That's tomorrow. How about yours?
Oh, I've got an extra day, the day after yours start.
Now you have some time to read questions 26 to 30. As the conversation continues, they are talking about their new college life. Listen carefully and answer questions 26 to 30.
It's nothing like school, is it?
Not so far. And the lectures will certainly be different. Do you have any special approach for keeping up with lectures and the amount we have to read?
Well, I usually try to read every word in a book, in case I miss something important. So I suppose I'll try to write down every word of the lecture if I can.
Oh, I couldn't do that. I'd get cramp in my fingers, and I wouldn't really hear what was being said. I usually skim a book when I read, and underline key parts, so I guess I'll try to make notes on the main points of the lecture. Have you thought of using a cassette recorder?
You mean to record the lecture?
Yep. Then you could make really good notes.
Is it allowed?
I think so. It must be. Plenty of people seem to do it. It has to be better than trying to write every word as you listen.
Anyway, what's your first lecture about?
Oh, it's on the Industrial Revolution.
The Industrial Revolution? Sounds boring to me.
Not really. It made a big difference to everything, including architecture eventually. So what's your first lecture about?
It's about what separates humans from other animals.
Okay. Look, I was on my way to the library to check out some of these books on my list. I have a tutorial paper to give in a couple of weeks.
Oh, what's the topic?
Well, I think our lecturer must have trouble thinking up topics. The topic is, why study architecture?
I don't know. It could give you a chance to set out what you want to do.
I guess so. Have you been given any tutorials to do yet?
Yes. Mine is called Needs for Sleep.
Sounds almost as interesting as mine.
That is the end of part 3.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 4.
You will hear a lecturer talking about dust storms. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 36. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 36.
In the last lecture, we looked at the adverse effects of desert dust on global climate. Today, we're going to examine more closely what causes dust storms and what other effects they can have. As you know, dust storms have always been a feature of desert climates, but what we want to focus on today is the extent to which human activity is causing them. And it's this trend that I want to look at, because it has wide-ranging implications. So, what are these human activities? Well, there are two main types that affect the wind erosion process, and thus the frequency of dust storms. There are activities that break up naturally wind-resistant surfaces, such as off-road vehicle use and construction. And there are those that remove protective vegetation cover from soils, for example, mainly farming and drainage. In many cases, the two effects occur simultaneously, which adds to the problem. Let's look at some real examples and see what I'm talking about. Perhaps the best-known example of agricultural impact on desert dust is the creation of the USA's Dust Bowl in the 1930s. The dramatic rise in the number of dust storms during the latter part of that decade was the result of farmers mismanaging their land. In fact, choking dust storms became so commonplace that the decade became known as the Dirty 30s. Researchers observed a similar but more prolonged increase in dustiness in West Africa between the 1960s and the 1980s, when the frequency of the storms rose to 80 a year, and the dust was so thick that visibility was reduced to 1,000 meters. This was a hazard to pilots and road users. In places like Arizona, the most dangerous dust clouds are those generated by dry thunderstorms. Here, this type of storm is so common that the problem inspired officials to develop an alert system to warn people of oncoming thunderstorms. When this dust is deposited, it causes all sorts of problems for machine operators. It can penetrate the smallest nooks and crannies and play havoc with the way things operate, because most of the dust is made up of quartz, which is very hard. Another example. The concentration of dust originating from the Sahara has risen steadily since the mid-1960s. This increase in wind erosion has coincided with a prolonged drought, which has gripped the Sahara's southern fringe. Drought is commonly associated with an increase in dust-raising activity, but it's actually caused by low rainfall, which results in vegetation dying off.
In the second part, the speaker talks about the drying up of the Aral Sea. Look at questions 37 to 40.
One of the foremost examples of modern human-induced environmental degradation is the drying up of the Aral Sea in Central Asia. Its ecological demise dates from the 1950s, when intensive irrigation began in the then Central Asian republics of the USSR. This produced a dramatic decline in the volume of water entering the sea from its two major tributaries. In 1960, the Aral Sea was the fourth largest lake in the world, but since that time it has lost 2/3 of its volume. Its surface area has halved, and its water level has dropped by more than 216 metres. A knock-on effect of this ecological disaster has been the release of significant new sources of wind-blown material as the water level has dropped. And the problems don't stop there. The salinity of the lake has increased so that it is now virtually the same as seawater. This means that the material that is blown from the dry bed of the Aral Sea is highly saline. Scientists believe it is adversely affecting crops around the sea because salts are toxic to plants. This shows that dust storms have numerous consequences beyond their effects on climate, both for the workings of environmental systems and for people living in drylands.
That is the end of part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
So guys, don't forget like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, IELTS updates and recent exams. For more updates related to recent IELTS exam writing test topics, listening, reading, practice test and speaking, you got guesswork. Please guys, participate in everyday new IELTS listening and reading practice tests to achieve your desired band score in your actual IELTS exam. For more IELTS material, visit my official website www.ieltsupdatesandrecentexams.com. The link is given below in the description. If you need PDF files of latest IELTS material, then please join my Telegram channel. So guys, please write your score below the comment section. Again, thanks for listening. God bless you all guys. Stay tuned, stay safe.